Just remember, whenever you're asking the question, what is my priority? What should I be working on right now? That marketing and visibility activities are always closer to the money than almost everything else that you're doing in the business. Hey, it's Samantha Hartley of the Profitable Joyful Consulting Podcast. This season, we have been talking about powerful questions. And today's questions, there's actually two of them, are how we prioritize what we should be doing in the business. I had a client contact me one time, and she'd just come off of a ton of travel and flurry and being outside the office. And when she returned to her office, she just felt overwhelmed by all of the things there were to do. And she said, like, what should I be working on right now? How do I, of all of the things that I have to do, how do I know what to focus on today? And so what I came up with was a framework for her and for all of us when we are in that situation. It's also one that is really relevant if you're feeling financially crunched, which sometimes we are. Sometimes you just have a feeling, and it very often doesn't have anything to do with how much you're actually earning. It just has that kind of that thermostat that fluctuates, and you have a days when you're feeling like financially stressed. And on those days, what do I work on when I look at my workload? Like, what will make me feel better financially and productive, but in a money making direction? So, if the question is, what should I be working on right now in my business? Then the answer is a framework for figuring out in your business what that is. So, the name of this framework is What's Closest to the Money. And I'm going to give you 4 time horizons for close, like how close things get. We'll talk about activities you can do that are close to the money and far from the money, and how you can kind of determine which things you should be working on. So let's start with the first one. The first time horizon is money that is owed to you or should be coming to you already. So sometimes you have like recurring payments, and that means like you know that the clients are paying you money, and like that is money that is coming into your business on a regular basis. Sometimes, though, that money gets stuck. It might mean that you need to make an invoice. It might mean that you need to chase down invoices that are outstanding, accounts payable, who owes you money right now, go and get that money from them. It also might mean that you need to get a way to pay you to a client. So figuring out how to get them a link to make a payment, or how to process their card or set them up on ACH payments or something like that. When you have someone who owes you money and the only obstacle between you and them is you providing an invoice or a payment link or whatever, that's your highest priority right now. Money that is in their bank account that they've already agreed to give to you doesn't do you any good. There's nothing more important than getting that money in your bank account right now. So that's your priority activity. I'm not suggesting that you need to do this. Someone who works for you could be doing this, but making that, ensuring that that happens and that that's going on, that's your priority. So the first time horizon is money owed to you already. People have already said, yes, we're paying you. The second time horizon is people who have said yes, but haven't sent money or haven't agreed to pay you. This is usually you've had a discovery session and someone has said, yes, we love it. We definitely want to do this. And so there are subsequent steps that need to happen after that. Most of the time, this is a proposal or an agreement, a service agreement, some kind of a paperwork that says you've agreed that you want to do this, and so let's get started with this. This also can just be getting them a link or something like that. In other cases, you might need to follow up with them, like they've said yes, but they haven't actually closed. So you might need to have an additional phone conversation or an additional meeting with them to really ensure that like they're in. In isn't a signature on a piece of paper. It's when a payment hits your bank account. The commitment isn't ever completely finished until payment hits your bank account. So make sure that if you have anybody who said yes, they're in, but the payment hasn't landed in your account, that's your next priority. If it is a proposal that is between you and this money coming in, please prioritize doing the proposal. I know that they're among the most heinous tasks that we have to do, and they can take days and days. There is a way to make it take shorter. I have a free template that I share because I want consultants not to spend time on this. I want this to be quick and easy for you. So I'll share in the show notes how you can get the $1 million proposal template. And then I have an instructional video on how to make putting together a proposal take less time and just like be simpler by covering a lot of the things that you need to think about when you're doing it. This ensuring that somebody who's like, I'm in, yes, you have a provisional yes, but you haven't yet gotten payment from them, like that is the second time horizon. The third time horizon involves activities that can bring you in revenue in the next month. So near term money, the next week, couple of weeks, or month, any money that's near term is usually going to involve making an offer to someone who's already familiar with you. So a lot of us have longer sales cycles if you're doing, an enterprise sale. But if you have something that could close in the next month, or you're wanting to generate revenue in the next month, then making an offer. So promoting an assessment, a quick way to get started with you right now, a workshop that you've been doing, some activity that allows people to purchase now rather than make a larger decision. If you want to generate revenue right now, then that's a good thing to promote as part of this activity for generating revenue quickly. Another great thing to do in this category is a webinar or a roundtable. Because it's a big time commitment, usually the people who will attend something like this are those who are interested in you and are closer to purchase. So, need to generate revenue quickly? A roundtable is a great way to do that and find out who's interested in what you're doing. You can make an offer at the roundtable. So that combines both of these ideas, but that's a great way to bring in money more quickly. The last time horizon is like the eventually category. Like none of those are true for you, and you're just wanting to bring in revenue and ensuring that what you're doing in your business is revenue generating. So that's usually going to be marketing. Marketing and visibility activities are revenue generating. Obviously, things like discovery calls and those are as well. But if you don't have anything booked and it's just like you and your own time, what are marketing activities that you enjoy doing and that you, when it's just you in your office on your own and you settle in, those are the things that really work for you. So I've had a lot of shows about marketing, about bringing in new clients, about visibility. I'll link to a couple of those in the show notes, but what you want to look at is what are the things that tend to work for you to bring in clients, and then just make sure that you have a habit of doing those activities. If you've been on a big a tour where you've been offsite or traveling and you're back in your office and you're feeling that kind of like frazzled and discombobulated and I don't really know what I should be working on right now, come back to those rituals and habits of these are the things that I do on a regular basis to bring clients into my business. Marketing is necessarily a revenue generating activity. Now, the opposite of that is, in some ways, resting. I want to make sure that I bring up resting because I will talk to my clients very often about delegating everything in their business and then focusing on revenue generation or resting. Those are the things that are left. It's important to know that resting is, in its own way, a revenue generating activity. I don't want you to try to do any of these activities from a place of being frazzled or exhausted because they tend to not work and you get diminishing returns if you're working in your business and feeling a desperate energy, like desperately trying to bring in money, and you're not rested. So in those cases, sometimes the best thing that you can do is take a nap or get a really good night's sleep before you come into your office to tackle the list of things. So remember that the answer to the question, what should I be working on right now, is what is closest to the money? And you've now heard the list of time horizons. I just want to go again over things that tend to be close to the money and things that are far from the money. First, far from the money are things like research. Well, I've just been like researching things. I'm going to spend a lot of time doing this. Research is like this rabbit hole that you can go down where you just spend a lot of time and it leads one thing to another and it it may result in something, but it doesn't necessarily result in something, and it tends to be a comfort zone for a lot of us. So like the researching and studying, those are activities that are great, But if you're in a place where you want to really like generate revenue right now, that's not a good thing to do. Another thing to really keep an eye on is over giving to current clients. Just because they're paying you money, and even if they're paying you a lot of money, have a good boundary about how much you're giving to them. So a lot of times I'll see a consultant lapse into this behavior of saying, oh, well, I have some time available. Maybe I should do more for my clients. That's rarely going to be helpful for you or for them. And it isn't profitable because doing for them, and I'm going to say this very carefully, the least you can do that gets them the maximum result. That's the balance that I want you to strike. Overgiving doesn't help them more. More is not more. So uh, that's a thing that you want to keep an eye out for when you're in the situation that where you're in your office and you're like, I just want to do something. Maybe I'll just do something I feel comfortable with, which is helping this client to do some more stuff. Okay. Here's where you want to put your own oxygen mask on and generate revenue for yourself. Another area that is a time suck and not revenue generating usually is email processing, admin tasks that fit in this category. We have to do those things in most cases, but you need them to take up the least amount of time possible. And if you're looking for what you should prioritize during your time in your office, that's not it. Scrolling socials, I hope I don't need to say like that's a resting activity and you can reward yourself with scrolling socials after you've gotten one of these other activities done. So those are the things that tend to be comfort zones that we slink into, but aren't the things that we should be focusing on. So close to the money, here's the list again: invoicing, writing proposals, making offers, doing discovery calls. And then here's the last one for you: completing things that you could be selling. So I have an idea for a new program, or I have a client has been asking for this thing from me, or I have a case study that is going to be amazing for generating new revenue for me. I just haven't been able to complete it. Those things, if you've done all of the above, that's the activity that you should really focus on, is completing things that you can either sell or that will help you to close more clients. Just remember, whenever you're asking the question, what is my priority? What should I be working on right now? That marketing and visibility activities are always closer to the money than almost everything else that you're doing in the business. And with that, I am wishing you a profitable and also joyful consulting business.